Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss about having clause. So in the past few videos, we discussed about the group by and the aggregate function. So we discuss a lot of aggregate function like maximum, minimum, average, sum, and count. So we are going to use all this concept in today's video as well. So it is very important you to have a basic idea about what is group by and what are the aggregate function and how to write the syntax. So this basic knowledge is very important before you start the today's video. So make sure that you watch the previous video as well. So let's start with the today's video. First, we will discuss what exactly mean by having clause and why we use that. So basically, the having clause is used to filter the groups after applying aggregate function. So as we discussed, there are different aggregate function like sum, average, count, maximum, and minimum. So basically, to filtering out the data once apply the groups, in that case we can use the having clause. So we already see the filtering data. In that case we use the where clause. So basically where clause is used before grouping and the having clause we can use after the grouping. So basically we will see this difference between the having clause and where clause in the next video, but just understand that the having clause is used to filter the data after applying the groups and after applying the aggregate function like sum, average, and count. So it works with group by, whereas the where clause filters before the grouping. Think like that having is the where clause for the groups. As you are aware about the where clause, so it will be easy to understand what exactly the having clause as well. So it is the similar concept like a where clause only, but here we are putting this filter after applying the groups and after applying the aggregate function. So let's see what exactly the syntax and how we can write the queries for that. So before that, we are using this sales data for this demo purpose. So in the past few lecture, we already created this sales data inside this employee database. So let's see what exactly the data available inside this table. So I just write a simple select star from dbo.sales query. So as you can see, there are different columns are present name as the cell ID, employee name, department, cell amount, and the cell date, and there are total 5 records. So we have seen a lot of example related to the group by and aggregate function using the same table only. So I'm continuing with the same table for the discussion of the having clause. So it will be easy to understand. So the first example I'm taking is I want the total cell per department. So this example we already discussed. So first we will write the query for that, and after that we will put the filters using the having clause. I want the total cell per department. So we already discussed how to write this query where we are using the aggregate function and the group by. So let's discuss that once again. Let's quickly revise. So first I'm writing is the basic select query. So I'm writing select star from DBO cells. So here we want the total cell per department. So we are going to perform the aggregate function on the cell amount, and that aggregate function is we want total, so we are going to perform the sum aggregate function, and we want as per the department. So here you can see we are having the two distinct department. The one is the electronics and other is furniture. So first thing I will write here is the department, and the second thing is right I want is the cell amount, but that cell amount I want the total cell, so I'm going to put that in the aggregate function sum, and the column name I'm mentioning is the cell amount. So this is the syntax for the aggregate function. Mention the aggregate function, inside the bracket you can mention the column name. So we have just written the column name and the aggregate function. Still we need to put the group by clause. So we already discussed in the last two videos as well. If you are not put the group by clause, In this case, the department is not included in any of the aggregate function and group by clause. So we will get this error. So this error we already discussed as well. If you read this error, you will understand, like it is mentioned, the dbo.sales.department is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or in the group by clause. So in this case, we need to put this department in the group by. So write group by department. So till here we already discussed in the last video. So once we executed this query, the output we are getting is the total sale as per the department. So for the electronics, the total sale is 3700, and furniture, the total sale is 1500. Here we forgot to give the alias name. So you can give the alias name as the total sale here. So here instead of the no column name, you can see the column name as the total cell. Okay. So now we want to put the filtering on this group data or aggregated data. So in that case, we cannot use the where clause. Where clause when you can use when there is a no aggregate data, when there is a no group data. In that case, you can use the where clause. But when you already aggregate the data, when you already group the data, in that case, we need to use the having clause. So how to write the syntax? So basically consider that I want the cell greater than 2000. So my total cell amount should be greater than 2000. I want to put that filter. So right now we just have the two record. Consider there are multiple record and we want to filter out the data. So in that case you can use the having clause. So I will consider that as an example too. I'm copy pasting the entire query here. I have copy pasted the entire query. Here total cell per department. I want to filter like total cell amount should be greater than 2000, where total cell amount should be greater than 2000. So here after mentioning group by, we need to put having clause. So you can write having, and then we need to put that total cell amount. So where we have performed the total cell operation here in the sum of cell amount. So you can just copy paste this one, sum of cell amount, and put it here, and we want now greater than 2000. So we can put greater than 2000. So this is the complete query. So basically what we are doing, we are calculating the total cell amount. So for that we are putting this aggregate function sum on the column of the cell amount, and we have given the alias name as the total cell, and we want that as per the department. So that's why we divided or grouped that using the department. Then what we are doing, whatever the output we got, we want some filtering. So we want the total cell amount should be greater than 2000. Show me those record only. In that case, for filtering purpose, when you are using the aggregate function and when you are using the group by, in that case, instead of the where clause, you need to use the having clause. So we have here mentioned having sum of cell amount. That means the total cell should be greater than. So we have used the greater than symbol 2000. So let's see what exactly the output we are getting. So we are expecting it should show just electronic department and the total cell. So now you can see we are getting the expected output. So let's see one more example using the having clause. So here I will use the different aggregate function. So this is the example 3. Suppose I want to find out the the number of sales made by the employees. So we have already seen this query, but we will put some more filters on that. So basically we want number of sales made by employee. So here the first thing I will write is basic the select query. Select star from dbo.sales. So this is our basic select query. Here we want the total sale made by the employees. Let's see our data first. So here you can see there are three distinct employees. First one is Alice, then second one is Bob, and the third one is Carol. Alice made two sales, Bob made two sales, and Carol made only one sale. So we want that as a output. So let's see how we can get that as a output. The first thing is we want the employee name, and in the last session of the aggregate function, we have already discussed like if you put a count and star, so it will find out the number of rows. So I need to find out the number of rows or the number of sales made by each employee. So that's why I'm using the count star. And we will give the alias name as the total sale. And we need to put a group by clause here as well, as the employee name is not included in any aggregate function. We need to put this column name in the group by, otherwise we will get the error. So I'm putting the employee name in the group by condition, and let's see what exactly the output we are getting. So we are getting the output, expected output, like Alice made two cells, Bob made two cells, and Carol made one cell. Now I want to show the employees who made more than one cell. So in that case, the Carol record will not come in the output, as Carol made only one cell. So how we can achieve that? So again, when we are using a filtering for the group by case, in that case you need to use having clause. So having count, so total cell we want should be greater than 1. So let's see what exactly the output we are getting. So as we are expecting, the Carol record is get excluded as she made only one cell. Alice and Bob record you can see here as they have made the two cells. So why we are using this having clause? So basically to filter on aggregate result, we are using the having clause. So for example, when we want the department with the higher cell, when we want the employee who made multiple cells, in that case also you can use the having clause. Suppose if you want the product sold more than certain number of times, so in that case you can use the having clause. So having clause cannot be replaced by where when filtering aggregate values. So where clause we are using in the case of non-aggregate values. So what exactly the difference between where and having clause, that we will discuss in the next video in detail. So basically just to revise, having clause we are using to filter aggregate groups after putting a group by is applied. So that's it for the today's session. If you have any question related to the having clause, you can put down that in the comment section. If this video is useful for you, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video till the end and have a nice day.